Okay, so here's the video on how I removed the rings from the Malden. It really wasn't that difficult, and all I used was a cordless screwdriver with a metal drill bit, and this is the last stages of getting the first rivet out. I used the cordless screwdriver because it gave me a little bit more control, and it also meant that it wasn't too fast, and the drilling needed to be just very slow, and because it's quite a delicate operation. And that's the removal of the first one, as we see there. So the second rivet is now being removed. So I'm just drilling down through the centre, and I've opened the rings there just to give me a little bit more room. And as you can see, all it is really needing is you to, on an angle, drill around the outside edges of the rivet to wear them down, because that's what's holding the rings in place, is just the lip of the rivet. So you just drill slightly and just sort of move it around a little bit in all directions to make sure that all the parts of the rivet have been worn down. And take it very slow, of course, bit by bit. You don't want to rush it. And once all of the edges are down, just be very careful, of course, because you don't want to cut yourself. They are quite sharp, and then it will lift off quite easily. So that wasn't too hard, and there's the rings removed. Now be careful when you close the rings, of course, because the action of the rings is still quite strong, and you can catch your fingers. Don't, of course, touch the edge. They are quite sharp, and there's also lots of small pieces of metal, shavings, so wear safety glasses for that. And the rings being removed frees up the inside quite a bit. So the next stage is now to remove the inside spine of the ring mechanism, and to do that you need to get access into behind the leather. Now the pocket Malden has this large outside pocket, and the spine of the ring mechanism is secured to the lining and also the inside leather. So what I did was I went to the bottom of the spine of the Malden and found that there was a hem which I lifted up and very carefully put a slit right at the very edge, just wide enough to get the ring base out, and a little bit of pushing and prying, you can see it's starting to poke through. Now that's connected to the lining and the leather, the other side, by these adhesive tape, which are quite sticky, so you need to pry them off very slowly. And I was being careful not to do it too roughly, not wanting to rip the leather or the lining, but you needed to pop the rivets through into the center so they can then, the spine can be pulled out. So pushing it through, and in this case I just used the tip of some scissors to push the other side through. So now the spine is in the center of the two pieces of lining, and it's ready to be slowly removed and pulled through that small hole. Now take your time with this. You don't want to push it too much. It's a little bit like threading elastic into the waistband of some pants. You have to sort of push the material around, and you've got the added complication of that adhesive tape, which you can see I'm pulling off now. So this is the tape that connects the base of the ring mechanism to the leather. It's quite tough and very sticky, so you do need to sort of pry it apart. And then the lining is connected as well with some tape, and that's the white tape. It's a little bit more delicate. So basically it's just pushing through and loosening it up, and the beauty of the Malden is that it's quite soft and pliable, so you can actually push the leather down and squash it up, which helps it to be removed. So very carefully peeling away the adhesive and slowly pulling it out, taking your time, a little bit of force. Now the whole thing was not to try and rip it at all, but just try and push it through, and eventually, after a little bit of tugging and a little bit of tender care, the spine peels away and is removed. So there's the second rivet that's coming through, and out it goes. So that's the inside spine. So that's what's inside the spine of the Malden that's holding the rings together. That's the adhesive tape that connects it to the leather side, the inside leather. So it is quite sticky. And that came out as well. It could probably stay in there, but I removed it. And you can see there's just the holes left, and the whole of the mechanism is removed. So the next step now is to just do a little bit of repair to that hole, and we'll do that in a second, but I just want to show you here just how pliable the leather really is. Now, you cannot do this obviously with rings in it, but and I don't recommend you do this, but I just wanted to demonstrate just how soft and pliable the Malden leather really is. It's very, very soft, but very, very sturdy and strong at the same time. So here it is, just rolling it up, and ready to go. So now I'm just going to repair the little tear that I made at the very bottom of the hem, and going to use some super glue or crazy glue, pulling down the hem there, and basically just putting a little bit of the glue on and gluing it back. I decided not to restitch it. I thought that was a bit complicated, and I think that because this is the bottom of the binder, it needs to be quite strong, and no one's really going to see it if there was a little bit of a problem with reconnecting this. So a little bit of crazy glue just on the inside, and of course that sticks quite well to cloth and leather. Be careful with your fingers, and also use it in a ventilated area. Pressing it down, making sure that it's actually going just a little bit over the inside lining, so that's all secured underneath that hem with the glue, and pushing it down and giving it a little bit of pressure. And within a few minutes it's fairly well dry, but what I did notice when I had finished was one of the stitches for some reason has come undone, whether through the process or getting caught with the edges of the rivet. So I've decided to fix it up just with a little dab of glue while I've got it there. Again, I could have cut it, but cutting the thread can lead to more unraveling, so I decided at this point just to glue it down. And you can use a toothpick. In this case I used the tip of some scissors, again just to place that thread back down again. And being the bottom edge and on the outside up, it's not really that noticeable, and I was quite happy with the end result. So I've got the rings removed and the seams repaired, and that's basically as hard as it got. So once that was dry, it was time to place in the notebooks that I'm going to be using for my ringless Malden. So in this case it's a Moleskine month on 2 pages notebook. I've got my existing week on 2 pages for my daily organising, and then this is going to be a month calendar, and also my finance and a few other notes as well. So at the beginning of every Moleskine they give you all the lists and all the information pages, which I don't use that often, so I'll probably find another use for those. And there's the outlay there, so you've got the months in a square grid, followed by, after each month, 2 pages of ruled lines for notes, and then the next month of course. So that's the outline for the new Moleskine, which I'm going to be placing in the back of the Malden. And these are available from Moleskine. I got these ones from a stationery store here in Australia. Also comes with a nice little cloth ribbon bookmark, and about 1/3 of the back is actually just note paper, which I'll be utilising for my accounts and budgeting. The elastic tie, and of course then a small little pocket, which actually won't be used because this will be held in the back pocket of the Malden, and that'll be what will be holding it in place. So opening it up, and you can see there's quite a lot of room now, and it cleaned up quite well. And we just place this into the back vertical pocket of the Malden, and the beauty of the Malden is it does have a back and a front vertical pocket where these notebooks can go into. So slides in quite easily. Just take your time though, you don't want to crease the cover of the book and also stretch the leather of the Malden as well. So a little bit of a push just to get it in, and a tight squeeze is quite good. And I didn't push it in all the way. As you can see, it's around about 1 centimetre from the holes, because I worked out the position of where I wanted it to sit, and I didn't need to push it all in. This is my current one, still has the ring holes, and push it in. Now for this one I did have to shave just about 1 millimetre off the front cover, so it would fit properly, but there it is. So the ringless pocket Malden, and how to get the rings off and how to set it up. So that's my video, and thanks for watching.